I'm Melissa Rohlin with the Los Angeles Times, here with Bill Plaschke and TJ Simers for another episode of LA Loud. The late Oakland Raiders owner, Al Davis, was considered a villain by some and a hero by others. He led his team to 3 championships, yet infused the NFL with a lot of drama. Was he good for the sport?
It depends which Al Davis we're talking about. Are we talking about the earlier years Al Davis? Are we talking about the later years? Early years, you give him so much credit for the AFL, for being a pioneer in so many regards. But the later years, and that's the ones the present generation remembers, he was horrible. He never reinvented himself. He was doing what he thought was the way to be successful 20, 30 years ago, and it didn't work.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Al Davis, at what price? He was a pioneer, but at what price? I mean, he hired the first African-American coach in the NFL, first Latino coach in the NFL, the first woman CEO in the NFL.
But did he hire those people because he was someone who was a forward thinker, or was he doing it because he was constantly the contrarian who was always doing something to go against the
grain?
I
think that all filed under his just win, baby, anything to win. He thought that would win. That was good for the NFL, but the bad thing was the way he mistreated people, the way he acted, the way he conned Oakland, he conned L.A. He spent his life conning people, demeaning people. So a lot of people in L.A. love the Raiders, and they think that means they love Al Davis, but I hope that they can separate the two, because at the end of the day, what you see on the field now is not Al Davis. Al Davis was a different kind of person.
Well, what's interesting, too, is I think the people that defended him, and passionately so with his passing, were his former players. But beyond that, I mean, you talk about his former players, those were players also who were loyal to Al, and Al was loyal to them. There were some players who weren't loyal in Al's opinion, and boy, he could put his foot on him and stomp him. I mean, Al was as much of a dictator, and also I think another lesson for everybody in life. He lived life with blinders on. Football, football, football. And it was so important to him. Frankly, it isn't that important in the big scheme of things. And as you look back on a man's life, was it worth it? I mean, I don't know what toll it took on his family, his personal life, his overall view of things, but I'm always intrigued by guys like this. Did they get the most out of life because they were so concentrated in one area, and that's the reason they were successful? Or would they have been better off had we not known Al Davis and he'd been successful in other parts of life?
Well, here's a question, and I think this is, I have an answer for this.
Okay.
Now that Al Davis has passed away, do the Raiders, would they have a better chance of coming back to L.A.? And I say yes. I say that would make them, depending on their ownership, depending on if they can rebrand themselves, that would make them more attractive possibility for L.A. without Al Davis.
Well, I don't think we know what the Raiders are going to be in the future. We don't know who's going to run them. We don't know who owns them, frankly. That's all been very secretive. I agree with you that Al was such a monster when it came to driving a bargain. He had to win. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Al Davis could ever come back to L.A. because I don't think he could have won any kind of negotiation deal.
But I think now there's a chance that the Raiders could come back without him as a new Raider team.
I still say that because of their image and the kind of fan that they have, that's not going to change anytime soon. You can't sell luxury suites.
I think you change the colors, team colors. I think
you're nuts.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, what kind of revolt would you have if you changed the Raiders team colors?
Revolt by who? Who's going to revolt?
Oh my Lord, are you kidding me? That's
all the people who don't sit.
It's the essence of the Raiders.
And that's
what do you want to do? Make it blue and gold?
Al Davis was.
Here come the Raiders, ladies and gentlemen, dressed in their finest blue and gold.
Oh, gee, and they really sold out a lot of games up there with it. No, you change the colors, come back to L.A. Next question.
That's ridiculous.
Next question.